Hello everyone, and thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel, Get Crafty with Sally. My name is Sally Poole. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. And today I want to show you how I made, we're going to make this one. It is a center step fun fold card. I wanted to use the Joy of Noel bundle and also the new Joyful Designer Series paper. Beautiful foil papers in this pack. So I came up with these cards. I don't know if you're familiar with Center Step. It's got some interesting cuts and scores and folds. So this is what it looks like from the side. Folds up nicely. And then it does have a spot where you can write something to whoever you're sending the card to. So I do have, let me back up a second. This set and the Designer Series paper are in the mini catalog right now, September through December 2023. They are on pages 29 and 30. So there's the paper, Joyful. There's 8 sheets, 2 of each, and they really are beautiful. And then here is the Joy of Noel stamp set and dies. And remember, if you do order them as a bundle, you do get 10% off the price, so that's a good deal. So if you're getting ready to make your Christmas cards, if you haven't started that yet, or if you want to make a few more and make some really special ones, I think these turned out really nice. Of course, anything with gold on it is nice looking. So let me set this aside. I do have all of the pieces that we're going to use here. I'm not going to go through and tell you all the sizes. I do have a PDF with all of the sizes, all of the dies that I used. Let me show you what I made. This will all be in the PDF. Here is a page that'll be in there, and it's just got everything you're going to need with all of the sizes and the colors. And then there's also a page in the PDF that has the dies that I used. So for this one, I used the Joy of Noel dies. I also used this sprig from Lighting the Way, and I cut it out in vellum. And then for this one, I used the lantern die from Lighting the Way, the sprig again in vellum. And then I also added a little layered poinsettia here. There's 2 gold layers and a cherry cobbler in the middle. And then there's a couple leaves cut out of the distressed gold with the Merriest Frames die set. That coordinates with the Merriest Moments stamp set. You might remember that from a couple years ago. It's a great set. And these are just ideas for you, to add on here. You can put any kind of greenery, spriggery that you've got. Don't run out and buy new sets just to do this. So I also have an in the PDF, there is a page that has the cut lines for, it would be this piece right here, these two cut lines on your paper. And then I also have a page with the score lines. So hopefully this will be helpful. I'm going to have to leave it out so I can use it. Hopefully it will be helpful. I haven't cut one of these for a while, so let me set some of this aside and we'll get going. Oh, I might mention too, the card that we're making today is this one, and I did use basic black on it. The PDF that I showed you does not have the basic black. It has the distressed gold layer. So you can use whatever you want and make it however you think it would look the best. So let's grab our trimmer and see if I can get this cut properly. Get it in the camera. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but I did, when you're cutting in the center of a piece of paper, cardstock, you're not cutting from the edge. It's kind of hard to look at this little ruler over here. So I cut a little piece of just copy paper that goes in my printer, and I think it's 1/4 of an inch wide and it's probably 11 inches long, and I just taped it. There's a little flat spot right here on the underneath side, so it does help you see those numbers better, although I probably am gonna have to stick my head in the camera to see this. So let's give it a whirl and see if I can get it done. So we've got our 5.5 by 8.5 sheet of cherry cobbler cardstock, and I'm going to place the 5.5 inch edge at the top of my trimmer, and I'm going to make sure you can see this. I'm going to line this up at 1.25 inches. And I'm going to take my blade. Now you see wherever you set it down, it's going to start cutting. So we want to cut this from 1 inch to 5.25. So I'm going to go up to my 1 inch mark here. You could also put a piece of washi tape or painter's tape or something on there so you could see it better. And then I'm going to go down to the 5.25 mark, trying to keep my head out of the camera. Lift that straight up. Then we're going to scoot this over to the 4.25 mark. Again, make sure that you're laying this blade down somewhere in between that inch and 5.25 inch space. So we'll go back up to our inch mark, back down to our 5.25, lift that back up, get that out of the way because we don't want to cut anything now. So I'm going to turn this sideways, and now we're going to add our score lines. So I don't know if you can see this or not. So we're going to go in 1 inch and score down to that cut line, skip over the center, and then score from this cut line down to the bottom of the cardstock. So let's place this at 1 inch. I'm probably going to have to grab some glasses. Nope, that didn't help any. All right, hopefully my head doesn't get in the way of everything. So I've got my score blade. I'm going to move it down to this score line. And I'm going to slide it down here, and I'm not pressing. So now that I'm at the cut line, I can score again. So now we're going to move our paper over to the 2-inch mark. And we'll score up to the cut line. And I'm not pressing again. Get to the cut line and then score. And then we're going to put this at the 4 1/4 mark. And this time we're just going to score in the center between those cut lines. This is really hard to do on the video without sticking my head right in the middle of everything. So now we're going to scoot this over to 5 1/4 and do the same thing we did over here. Take it down to the cut line. Skip over the middle part. I'm not pushing down. Start at the cut line, go down to the edge of the cardstock. Okay, so you probably won't be able to see this on the camera very well, but I'm going to fold this back right here, and it'll start folding this piece, which kind of pushes these back. So that'll go down, that'll go down, this will go back. Can you see that? So I'm just going to lay it down, give it a press, and I'm actually going to take my bone folder and give all of these folds a really good crease. I'm also going to lift this up and crease this here that's inside. You just want really crisp folds where you've got those score lines. Okay, so there's our card base. That wasn't too bad, was it? So let's start putting it together. See if I can find all my pieces. We can just spend a little bit of time gluing things together. Hopefully it won't take too long. I'm not the quickest at gluing. I'll also try not to cover the entire project with glue, which I tend to do. Don't you love this paper? I just think it's gorgeous. I am a big fan of cherry cobbler anyway, and probably heard me say this before, but I really like red and black together. Yesterday it was pouring here, and that was like one of the first days of rain that we've had. It was a deluge. Today it's pretty mild. I think it's about 64 and it hasn't rained yet. And I was able to shut my heat back off and open my back door. Okay, one more piece. And this I stamped this beautiful Noel stamp from the Joy of Noel stamp set in Versamark, sprinkled it with gold embossing powder and heat set it. If you are not familiar with that process, you could probably back up a couple of my videos and see how it's done. I don't want to do it today because there's so many pieces to this. So now we can start gluing these pieces to our card base. And I'm going to open it up to do that so it's flat. Make sure you get your music sheet going in the right direction. That's an easy thing to mess up. So there's that. And it helps when you've got a piece of paper that has that treble clef. I think it's called a treble clef sign. I haven't taken a music class since high school. Been a while. So let's put the other one on the right side. Try to get all of your margin edges even. And let's put this piece on the bottom. It's coming together pretty quickly, really, isn't it? A little bit of glue peeking out there. Okay, now on this card, I just glued this piece. On this card, I popped the lantern up on dimensionals. I don't know if you can see that or not. The reason that I glued it on this card was because I knew I was going to put these holly leaves on here, and if it was popped up, I don't know how good they would look or adhere. So let's glue this piece down. Try to get it centered, and it's nice to have these lines on the music sheet to line things up to. So there's that. So now let's put all of our little sprigs and things on. So these two sprigs from the Lighting the Way set I cut with vellum. Since they both go the same way, I'm actually going to flip one over to glue it down. And before I even glue them, I'm going to cut the end off just about where the smaller piece starts getting larger. So let's get those off of there. And since we want them to go this way, we'll put glue on those sides. So let's put a little bit of glue on these vellum pieces. And when you put glue on the vellum, let me get my card back in here. The pieces tend to want to slide around a little bit. So you might have to hold it down for a while. I'm going to try to get these centered and even. Although it's a handmade card, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so there's those pieces. So next, let's put our distressed gold pieces down. And for this piece, again, there's only one die, and this is the way it cuts. So I didn't want one going up and one going down. So when I cut the second piece, I flipped my distressed gold piece over and put my die face down on the back side of it and cut this out. When you do that, you'll get that funky edge on the underneath side, which is now going to be the top. So just take your bone folder and just go over that, and you can pretty much lay all that down. Okay, so let's put a little bit of glue on these pieces. Don't need a whole lot. Okay, and we'll lay those down on our vellum, which you can still see the vellum poking out here and there. And next, we've got these little holly berries that again are heat embossed in gold embossing powder on cherry cobbler. These I didn't do any different cutting. They just are going to go the way they go. So put a little bit of glue on that. And we'll lay that down on our distressed gold piece. Okay, next I am going to take 3 of these little leaves, and there are 3 little dies for leaves in the Joy of Noel die set, so that's kind of nice. So let's flip these over, and I think I am going to cut a little bit of the end off of each one of these so they lay a little bit flatter on the card, since I'm kind of piling things up together. So I'm just going to put a little dab of glue on the end of each of those. And we'll put one here and one up here. And one over here. And then I've also got 3 more of the same leaf die cuts that I'm going to put up here. So I'm going to cut off that little end again, little stem. And let's open up our card, or fold up our card, so we can see where we want these. Put another little dab of glue on the ends. Lay these down where we think they should go. Okay, and then I also have some of my old pearl basic jewels that I have colored with my dark cherry cobbler Stampin' blend. And I am going to place 3 of these little berries on my holly leaves down towards the bottom, and a little grouping. And then I've got a ribbon that's made out of the gold and vanilla 3/8 inch satin edged ribbon. I'm going to grab a couple of glue dots. Attach them to the back of the bow and attach the bow to the front of the card. Okay, so the only thing left is, let's put this little piece on the inside. It's just a piece of basic white cardstock. It is 2 3/4 by 4. And if you wanted to, you could cut it down a little smaller, like 1/8 of an inch on each, well, 2 of the sides, not each of the sides. And then you could make a basic black layer to put behind it in this 2 3/4 by 4 size, or the gold, whichever one you're going with. So there's our card for today. Let me know what you think about it. And if you have a favorite, do you like the Noel or do you like the Joy lantern? Let's see. There was something else I was going to tell you. I know what it was. For the lantern, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I cut a piece of vellum and glued it there. And I also made a circle on the back of the vellum with a dark Mango Melody Stampin' Blends. So let me show you kind of quickly. I won't do the whole process, but let me see if I have a colored piece of paper. I guess not. So I'm just going to take my little piece of vellum. Can you see that? And I'm going to lay my die cut of the lantern over it. And I'm just going to lightly trace along this edge on both sides. Okay, so you've got that, and what you're needing is just pretty much this middle piece. So you want to cut this out on the inside of your pencil lines. Doesn't need to be right up next to it. And what I did was, well, let me grab the one I already did. Here's the weird little shape that I ended up with. So you can put glue up here and down here, leave these strips so that you can attach this. And it'll fit right on the back of there. You can put your gold or yellow Stampin' Blend circle there, or you don't have to. It looks really good without it. And I also, when I die cut this, I didn't die cut that whole ring because I knew that I was just going to cut this top piece off anyway. So that's how that was done. If anybody has any questions about that, if you do want to make this card and you're confused for some reason, drop me a question in the comments below this video and I will certainly get back to you. So again, here are our cards for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll give one or both of these a try. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you like my videos, remember to hit the thumbs up, share my video with your friends and family, and it would be awesome if you would subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell and click all so you will get notifications of when I post a new video. And I really appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Thanks.